off.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that.
There it is.
Oh, there you go. Welcome back.
And everybody else, welcome back to the Blamegirl Podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Tony Dark in the house. Welcome, Tony.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Blame Girl. What's up?
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I am here on location at Riverside Mike. You're supposed to be here.
Yes, that is my my better half, my partner.
Joining us. Thanks for joining us.
Lucas.
Okay. Are you coming? You are coming here though, right?
Yes, I'm coming here. I'm going to be there probably later this evening because I always got to show out. The showcases tonight. They got Lonnie Cox headlining. It's supposed to be a banger tonight.
You on the showcase?
Nope. I'm not on the showcase. Just help out with the production side on this end for Mondays. This is mainly a Lucas intracoastal event, intracoastal entertainment. Excuse me.
Yeah.
On Mondays, Tuesdays, that's the collaborative effort that we do. That's at Lauderdale. We got another showcase tomorrow night. You probably know him. You definitely know him. Zach Bugarin. Zach B. He's going to be headlining the show tomorrow at Lauderdale. So we got a really strong lineup of shows this week.
I did not expect it to be a showcase. I thought I'd be able to get up on the mic tonight.
I forget how he structures it. Is there not an open mic after the show?
Oh, it's at 10 though. Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's a little late. Lauderdale, the open mic starts closer to 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30 on the late side if we start a bit late.
Yeah. It's just hard to get down here. I'm all the way.
So how was your weekend, Tony?
My weekend was pretty good. It's pretty chill. Honestly, I would even consider that show we did on Thursday the start to my weekend. That was interesting. I had never been to that venue before, so it was a very fresh experience for me. But it's been a great weekend. I did a lot of I got to sleep Sunday. Sunday I did some sleeping. Saturday I was working at the Art Walk in Fort Lauderdale. That's where me and Lucas we do the production for them as well. We set up like the staging, the sounding, the electrical and such. So that day was a bit annoying just because it's like a whole day effort. You know, I got to get in early, set up the cones so we limit the traffic. Then I got to come back at the end of the event as well to break down the electrical and stuff. It's a labor of love, but also sometimes it can be a bitch. So Saturday was a bit drawn out. But other than that, my weekend was pretty damn good. How was your weekend?
Productive. It was a productive weekend. After 11 years of sitting on the shelf, I've decided to publish my novels.
What?
So I had a meeting with an illustrator this weekend to illustrate the covers. And I should be getting those in within the next 7 to 10 days. And once that happens, links will be on my pages.
Okay.
Fabulous.
What kind of novel is it? Is it like autobiographical? Is it fiction, nonfiction? What kind of?
They're fiction. They're fictional. I wrote 2 fictions, not 1 nonfiction. The nonfiction book is a translation of old philosophers into modern day language.
Okay.
The other one is a suspense thriller, and then one is a traditional American 20th century novel. So we'll see how they do.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And nobody cares about Gio's weekend, so.
No, definitely do. What was your weekend like? No, what was your weekend like? What were you getting into? You had any bad dates? What happened with you?
No, nothing really. I just did some mics on Saturday. I did the Bamboo Room and Propaganda, so those were fun.
Bamboo Room's always good. Always a good time at the Bamboo Room.
Where is that all
They got
up
a-
in like Lake Worth?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like downtown Lake Worth. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know that they had an open mic. My friend, she invited me to the paint and sip, and I was like, no, that's too expensive. But then she invited me to the open mic, and I was like, okay, so.
Yeah, no,
I
you
mean,
talking
Whether
the
I was
language.
on the show or not, I've never been to a show at the Bamboo Room that I wasn't that I regretted going to. They get some great bands that come through there. It's the only time Gio's ever seen me dance.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
There's
You know
nothing like a
what,
40-year-old white man dancing. Nothing.
You know what else I've never seen, and now I've seen is them injecting or feeding chickens with marijuana instead of antibiotics. Who's to blame, guys?
Jesus.
Wait, are you saying that they're doing that or they're not doing that?
Oh, they are doing it.
I'm guessing you didn't get the show prep.
I did not. I
He
got
just didn't
but
read it.
again,
It's
I don't
fine.
know why. I've been having.
I
weird things.
emailed it to you.
I tapped into the link that you sent to my Outlook, and I don't know why. Like I'll screenshot it. It's not. I don't know what. I'm very confused on what I was supposed to look at. It sent me somewhere strange. I know.
This is gonna make this awkward, but we'll try to get through it. But
Okay.
yes, in
Well,
Thailand,
yes, they're giving weed to chickens as opposed to antibiotics. Which I mean, come on, just on the face of that, it has to sound better. One's a natural solution to a problem. One's a synthetic solution to a problem.
So
natural is always going to be better.
As an antibiotic now is what I'm gathering.
I don't know. I don't know if it's an antibiotic, but you know what? They're not as many chickens dying, or not more chickens dying at the very least. They say that only about 10% died. They say that they are experimenting positive signs from feeding the marijuana. And that not only that, because they have, they're organic, they are fetching a higher price tag. So they're making more money off of feeding them marijuana. You think it's the money that's to blame?
Well, the money's always the blame. They always give the synthetic thing because the synthetic thing is the cheaper thing. And the cheaper thing means your profit margins go up. It doesn't mean it's the better thing. Obviously, the natural thing's always going to be better,
Yeah.
But I mean, really, look, this it just kind of highlights the American thought process, which is, profits.
It's not American though. It's in Thailand. In Thailand, marijuana was extremely illegal until recently. They've decriminalized it, like with respect to like low.
Well, I understand, but I assume that the majority of the people that watch this are American. And their thought process would probably be somewhere to the line of, oh, they're putting marijuana in everything, or oh, this is just a liberal agenda or something like that. But it's not. It's sometimes you can make good money and do the right thing at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive.
100%.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure McDonald's was making plenty of money before they stuffed a bunch of chemicals in their food. It's not about making money that's the problem. It's about the fact that you never want to stop making more money.
Yes. Like Wendy's. Wendy's used to actually, I mean, we're just still talking about fast food. Fuck it. Wendy's used to have fresh ass fucking beef on deck that they would whip out for you and get you your burger. Now that shit's all textbook, just, you know what I mean? Shipped in, frozen, ready to go. It's the most expedited way. It's the cheapest option. But
well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because the founders of those organizations, the one that really made them, like in Wendy's case, Dave Thomas, or in Ray Kroc in McDonald's cases, they were always about quality. And
yeah,
the same thing can be said about Mr. Walton, who started Walmart. He was all about using American-made goods. He was all about selling American-made goods. That's why the color scheme for Walmart is red, white, and blue, because he was all about that. But as soon as he died and his kids took over, they were like, fuck that, let's make some money. which means selling garbage, but that's my main problem with the American thought process. It's profits over everything.
That's where, like, I wonder where, they're cucking a whole lot of doctors, a whole lot of physicians, a whole lot of pharmaceutical medications with the abortion ban. Like, where's the money flow on that? Where's the money ending up on that end? Where was the money behind that thinking? I just don't fucking see it.
Oh, it's not a money thing. That's a political dog whistle issue, but we'll get to that a little later.
Yeah,
that's just staying in power, which power creates money. So they're just sticking with that because they know it'll keep them in power, which will keep them in money.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict, guys?
Okay.
Who's to
We'll
blame?
touch it later. We'll touch that later.
Like I said, Jesus is to blame. He should have never gave us marijuana in the first place if he didn't want us to use it.
I'll take it. Is Jesus to blame? Is Jesus to blame for Gabby Petitos' death, or is it Brian Laundrie?
I think that one is just Brian Laundrie. I don't think you can. I don't think you can hang that one on the J Dog.
That was my transition. Okay, Brian Laundrie this week, his letter was revealed where he confessed to Gabby Petitos ending her suffering, not her murder, but he ended her suffering. Who's to blame?
This is the couple that went camping, right? Camping,
and you can call it ending your suffering. You murdered her, man. What suffering? It's crazy.
Where did they get this information? Like, so they found some writing.
He
essentially his suicide note.
Oh, word! I thought they just found his body, and I didn't hear any more information after.
Well, they didn't release it until just recently.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he ending her suffering. She's a 20-something pretty white girl in America. What's suffering? Like, how many advantages? How many advantages do you need in this world to be happy?
It's suffering that he was actually putting her through. Like, I think personally, I think that he wrote it like that just to like vilify himself in the end. Like, he's the hero. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
He just wanted to look like a hero. He was the villain to the whole country for 2 weeks until he died. And he's like, well,
anyway, people thought he was a hero. I always knew he did it, right? I was sure.
Well, no, nobody thought he was a hero. Nobody, not from the very beginning. Everybody,
he was a hero.
He thought he did. But actually, that kind of circles back. There's a line in one of my books that I was talking about that the villains never look at themselves like villains. They never address themselves as villains. They're the hero in their story because they've already they've already justified their behavior, that even the behaviors that they're going to make, they've already justified them in their head.
It's totally.
I mean, look at the MCU. Thanos thought he was doing something good,
It's total abuser behavior. Like, you strangled her because y'all were fighting the whole time. It was on video. There was domestic violence incident and you want us to believe that you ended her suffering? What? The nerve.
Obviously not.
On his way out.
Maybe she was suffering from, like, I don't know, like fuck nigga syndrome, and she just kept running into these terrible men. No. He was like, I think I got the answer for that. I don't know.
Great. We got some victim shaming from Tony Black here.
I know, right? Why are you victim shaming? She's dead. All right.
You know who's really the villain is that Anne Frank. She was just antagonizing those Nazis to come get her. That's what it is.
She was.
She wouldn't stop writing that diary. They told her to stop, and she was like, nah.
I guess you guys would say that John Cornyn isn't antagonizing Black folks when he's tweeting about going after landmark segregation cases. Who's to blame, guys?
White people.
Thank you.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Tony.
It's pretty obvious.
It's always white people.
Is he trying to placate his base?
Have you guys always lived in Florida?
No, I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I'm from Texas.
What about you,
I'm from where
Giovanni?
John Cornyn's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a Florida native, and I've never. So this might not be surprising to you guys, but I recently found out that Tampa, the West Coast, they're one of the last places in the country to be desegregated, like school-wise, public school-wise. You know how Kamala Harris was like, "Oh, I was one of the last people busted in like the '70s or whatever the fuck it is that she goes on about." I found out like last week that Tampa ended segregation in 1999. 19 motherfucking 99.
Well, but that's officially. There's still segregation in the schools right now today. But mainly it's not done specifically like written down on paper through race. It's done through class systems, which obviously reflect race. And the number one segregated school system in the country is New York City. Yep.
That's
That
amazing.
sounds-
'Cause
That
that's
sounds pretty accurate.
Yep.
Like,
Because you can, that's the place where you can still find schools that are 95% white, and it has nothing to do with skin color, but it does have to do with who's poor and who's rich, and that does have to do with skin color.
So if not, New York is that segregated still, what will going after these landmark decisions do?
Oh, it's going to be a real shit show, because the thing that people don't realize about these Supreme Court rulings is the basis of Roe versus Wade was through personal privacy. That's how they attached it to constitutional rights, was that the government doesn't have a right to tell you medically what you need or what you don't need. So by overturning that, they're basically saying personal privacy rights are not constitutional.
We're not there yet.
Which is gonna wait. Hang on. Which is gonna turn.
It's open the door though.
I see what it's opening the door to something else that we'll talk about.
But that is our next topic. I mean, I guess we could go ahead and move on.
We'll just transition into it. Roe versus Wade. People aren't seeing the bigger issue here, because legally, when you're talking about it, you have to make an argument to overturn a precedent, which is what they did. They made the argument that it's not a personal privacy issue. But the problem is
tied together though, Terry.
But
they're arguing overturning precedent when it comes to segregation.
Well, hang on, we're not there yet. Let's go tile by tile here, because this is actually pretty important. Because the other mandates that the Supreme Court ruled on to do with privacy issues are same-sex marriage. They are the right to contraceptive. So that's birth control. It goes as far as interracial marriage. So all of those things are on the chopping block now. So enjoy your time with your boo there, Tony, because it might not last.
Not even Tony, but one of the justices has an interracial relationship, so it's like,
yeah, that's going to be awkward when that comes up.
It's funny because he specifically said that he wants to review every single case except the interracial marriage case, which is like, I don't know. It's so obviously
they like to get their rights and then encroach on ours. So
no, what it is it's a typical, and I know because as I've said many times on this program, I used to be a part of the Republican Party, but I left when I saw the corruption, and nobody in the Republican Party gives a shit about anybody else's rights or issues until it affects them. Famously, Dick Cheney was staunchly anti-gay. He was staunchly anti-gay rights and very much against gay marriage until his daughter came out as a lesbian. And then all of a sudden he changed his position.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
That's usually how it goes. It's also like how I feel like I really fuck with how Dave Chappelle put it in perspective on that aspect of like, obviously I'm incredibly understanding of everybody's realities, everybody's difficulties, everybody's struggles. But in one of his recent specials, he went on to talk about how like, the trans movement, it does so well. It's come so far so quickly because it also happens to have what? A lot of white men inside of their movement, and it's just always the case of,
Nah.
is it in our circle? Is it in our playing field? Is it in the realm of somebody I don't know? It's the same thing as
the trans rights movement has been fucking up since the very beginning. And it starts with those bathroom bills. You remember those? Where it's like, no, you shit where we tell you to shit. Their problem was that they fought back on that, and they shouldn't have. They should not have fought back. That was a good time to give the baby its bottle. Like, it really was. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because a 6'2", biological man dressed as a woman going into a men's room is uncomfortable for everyone involved. So if they would have just been stronger, in fortitude, and then a trans man, hang on, let me finish before you criticize. A trans man dressed as a man that maybe has hormone therapy to have facial hair, that maybe has this, maybe has that, going into a women's room, trust me, those women are going to have something to say about that. So they should have just done what they were asking and watched it explode, and then stood back and go, look, we told you not to do this, but you're doing it. And just let it explode in their face. Sometimes you got to let Wile E. Coyote explode the rocket before he figures out the rocket doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going. I really don't.
Well, I
don't know. This is an ebb and flow conversation.
Let's go ahead and
aspect of it hitting your home when it's finally in your view.
Right. Let's talk about that in the context of abortion, though. Like, now that they are going to be harder to access, who are we blaming? Are we just blaming the Supreme Court? Is it states' rights?
No, we blame Donald Trump.
People can still travel. So who are we going to blame?
Oh, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Because you think that, Joe, you can travel anywhere you want, like Ted Cruz or Greg Abbott or anybody else is going to put up with that shit. They're already writing laws right now that will punish people that they can prove went out of state to have an abortion. Not only that,
you can't even just leave to go get it.
Not only that, if I can finish, not only that, but with all the online accessibility to people's lives, they are going to be tracking whether or not pregnancies are terminated on purpose or not. See, because pregnancy has been terminated for thousands of years. There are natural things that you can do to terminate your pregnancy. Even just eating a large amount of fresh parsley has been shown to induce a cause of miscarriage. Yeah, it's been shown to induce a miscarriage. So even if you're doing that stuff, but you're talking about it online, or you're messing with your period, like they can track everything, and they're going to come after everyone. This is a moral issue that they are going to die on this hill.
Yeah, like what's crazy is men don't even like you talking about your period, but you're regulating it. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You know,
those period trackers that women use, those are all free information that they can get.
That's some straight. I don't know. I don't even know.
No, this is. I'm serious. Like I hate to be. Look, you know me. I'm a rational person, but this could get ugly. This could get Handmaid's Tale.
Highly alarming. Highly.
Why do you think I'm leaving this country?
Well, you just said
where are you going?
That was going on.
Europe, baby.
Because of everything that was going on. All right, let's get to know Tony.
It's the straw that broke the back, but I was already on it.
So I want to welcome our comedian of the night. We got Mr. Tony Dark in the house. Welcome, Tony.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Be out here.
Tony Dark hosts several rooms around South Florida, such as Riverside Mike, where I'm at. And what are some of your other rooms?
I I've got a few rooms that we got and a couple new ones that are on the way as well. So I'll just tell you about them all. Monday, where you're at right now, every Monday night, that's Riverside Market and Plantation. It's a really dope spot, really organic, really great place if you're trying to work on some new material. And honestly, typically wherever we go, we like to do all arts. I'm a comedian. My business partner Lucas is a musician, and often I found when I first started to hit the open mic scene, I found that it was kind of awkwardly segregated between the arts. Like comedians held a weird vanguard of just having comedy open mics and keeping the space for comedians. And I found that it's a lot more immersive. It's a lot more of a sincere environment when you get all the arts together. And that's something me and Lucas really agreed upon. But yeah, we do the thing everywhere. Mondays, it's there in Plantation. Tuesdays, we started there back in January. So we've been there for about 6 months now. It's at Lauderdale Brewery, right by the Fort Lauderdale Airport. It's a beautiful space. They've got an awesome beer garden in the back there. We do loads of events. We just had a hip hop night there a couple of weeks ago on Friday. And it's really a great space. And on Wednesdays, which is actually going to be rotating come July, right now we're at Rebel Wine Bar out in Oakland Park. But come next month, we're going to move some things around. We're going to get Rebel down on Sundays, and that'll be our first Sunday open mic that we've had going. I don't know. I don't think we've ever had a Sunday mic.
Are these all mics or are these?
Yeah.
Like
so
tonight's showcase. I didn't even know that they did showcases at Riverside.
I would say 9 times out of 10, we like to do a hybrid where the first few weeks, whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in a month, the first few weeks we do open mic the whole night, and then the last week of the month, and it's dependent on the day that we're working, whether it's a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or a Sunday. The last day of the month we secure for a showcase where we try to curate it with some of the more endearing talents from the past weeks. And then we obviously go around and try to find other artists to work with to get on the show as well. But it's a paid showcase. We pay all the artists, and we do that once a month. But like I said, it's usually a high.
Let's talk about you individually as a comedian. How long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy for a little over 2 years now. Coming up on my third year, my third anniversary in November. So just a few months, I'll be 3 years doing this. And it's been great, honestly. I love it. I do not think there is anything else I was meant to do with my life or anything else I will be doing with my life other than comedy or in the pursuit of comedy or even in just entertainment production at that.
So what, since you've been doing comedy, what has been your favorite venue? And you cannot say the Improv.
The Improvs.
One of my venues.
I figured. No, you can say your own venue.
You know what?
You can't say the Improv.
But that's the. I understand why every comic would say that though, because you know what our is.
Which, yeah, but that's why we have a rule against it.
That's fucking priceless. Okay, fair, very fair. I understand that.
We can't ask that question if we're going to get the same answer.
What's your favorite venue?
Okay, all right. So then my favorite venue, and then I'm not going to be a dickbag and say one of mine either.
Be a dickbag. It's fine.
I guess sincerely, my be a dickbag. I'll give you two. One of my favorite venues for shows, whether it's comedy, music, and poetry, it's Laundrie. Honestly, it's the sexiest. It's got the best energy. I love going there on Tuesday. I fucking love that spot. But in terms of me as a comedian and performing, and
performing wise,
Lauderdale Brewery on Tuesdays. Performing wise, it's Villain Theater out in Miami.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know Villain Theater. It's a great space. I respect thoroughly what the fuck they got going out there. They put their heart and soul into making sure they got a full house of motherfuckers there to watch the comedy. And
Yeah. Villain
I
theater
have
is
recordings that I'm planning on putting on pieces of my best material I can get out there. It's great.
yeah.
Great
Villain
space.
theater is another. It's a theater that's like made for laughs. You know, it's not like a bar show.
Yeah.
It's like they're there for the comedy or for some type of performance.
And they teach improv and stand-up classes as well.
That's probably the one that we've gotten the most is Villain Theater.
Yeah, man. But that's the truth, dude. The proof is in the pudding, bro. They put in that fucking work, and if you're working on it, you got your shit together. You got a great space to really see where your shit can fly.
So Tony, let me ask you this: what has been your proudest moment as a comedian?
Honestly, my proudest moment, it's let's see. Oof, that's tough. Can I maybe do like top 3, I guess? Top 3 and no.
You can do top 2, and then we're gonna
Top 2?
call it.
Okay.
All right,
Fine. Top 2. Okay. I would say the top one of the top 2, and it happened recently. It was like when I first started comedy, I went to New York pretty early just to check out the scene, and it was really tough to navigate the space, and all the open mics are paid, and it felt like I was really just like roughing it at the bottom ring, you know. But you know, you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do if this is what you want to do. And I think the top thing was just a couple months ago. I went up with my girlfriend. She had a wedding, so I went up to New York, and I had a buddy. He reached out to me. He's like, "You're in town?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in town." He's like, "Dude, I got a show. Somebody dropped out. Do you want to hop on the show?" And I honestly, it's just, I think that was one of my most proudest moments, was the opportunity. Just 2 years ago, I had to struggle just to get 2 minutes of time. And then a couple years later, just doing the fucking work, I had the opportunity to get paid to do 10 minutes in New York. And that was, honestly, I would even leave it at that. That's probably the top moment. And then the second, I guess, would be, I'm not even allowed to say it. The second is the improv, because that crowd was thick. It was like almost maybe 150 plus people out there, which is probably the biggest crowd that I performed for. So set in New York and then performing for a fat crowd at the improv. Those are my 2 most favorite, memorable moments in comedy that I can think of.
What's been your biggest challenge as a comedian?
Oh, my biggest challenge, because I host a lot of rooms, my biggest challenge is finding the opportunities my goddamn self to hit more open mics, dude. Like I love the opportunities that I can provide for the community. But I want to build more material, you know? Like I said, when I did that show in New York, it was great. I had a bunch of material I could naturally fall back on, but I had some new stuff that I was working that I wish I had the time to have polished and ready to drop there. And I'm finding it hard to navigate the space in between the production and the opportunity to work and build my craft further.
That's nice. All right. So before we move on, I just want you to take like a minute and tell us about who you are just as a person, like where you're from, what's your day job, do you have other projects, things like that.
Yeah, do you have a day job?
Okay, cool. So I used to, I no longer do. I do this full time now, which is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I do a lot of production events. It opened the door for a lot of opportunities in terms of just doing sound engineering for production shows. I've worked a lot of big production events that pay pretty well. I do some marketing jobs as well. And these are all things that spawn from just me trying to pursue comedy and finding other ways to facilitate comedy. And it ended up into a very decently lucrative opportunity, more so than what I was getting paid at my regular job. That's pretty dope.
Do you have so where are you from? Are you from Florida or?
We already said that.
Florida dude, born and raised. I am a Florida man. through and through. I got right now. I'm wearing a shirt that says Broward County. It's where the fuck I'm from, where I'm at.
You a Florida
954 till I motherfucking die. I do not see myself relocating, but I love to travel. I will be everywhere. I'm not gonna not be everywhere. I love to travel, but this is home base. This is where I come back to recharge. This is where I always see myself coming back to recharge and reconnect and get my fucking shit straight.
Just to throw a little converse opinion on that. I've lived in Florida for a large chunk of my life, but I've also been to a lot of other places. 48 states, 15 countries. Like Florida, to be honest, it's kind of shit. Like it's kind of like the weather is good and everything, but it's like the reputation that Florida has throughout the country is well deserved and earned. Okay, including Broward County, which is where I spent my formative teenage years, between Deerfield, Sunrise, and Margate. Like it's kind of shit. Like you gotta say it a little.
I not even a little. I agree 100%. But my cynicism holds no bounds. I'm of the mindset of, love the devil, I'm not under the impression that anywhere else is going to be anywhere outside of America. I don't see myself leaving America, but you different strokes for different folks. You're of the mindset that you'd find something outside of America better, but it's also because you understand everything in America is going to be damn near the same. I don't see myself leaving in America. So at that, I already concluded Florida is the choice.
America is so crazy different from one another depending on where you are. And even places like Montana, like it's hard to imagine that Montana is more progressive in its thinking than Florida is, but it very much is. It very much is.
Oh, I know for sure. It's the Tri-County area is the only pocket of liberalism, and even at that, it's like not even liberalism. It's like centrist, centrists out here, more like fucking at best libertarian. But it's also a huge flip-flop state. It's a state that changes its mind every 4 to 8 years, whereas most states like Montana, you can probably rest assured where they're going to vote.
It's not anymore. I would think that Montana is more of a flip state than Florida is. Having spent time there, I would tell you that it probably is, just from a ground level, just being on the ground level.
Let's get ready to play the blame game. Tony, are you ready?
Love the blame game. I haven't heard it, but I'm excited to play.
You tend to produce shows with music. Who's to blame?
Who's to blame? Oof. So from a production standpoint, I would say out the gate, who's to blame is comedians, because we even offer incentives. So we pay more if you decide to bring somebody with you to the show. And comedians are my people. I am a comic and I understand, but comedians love to come solo. They love to come as though the entire show is a pedestal for them to sit on and sling a dick joke and not really be a part of the process further than that. Whereas musicians see it on the flip side. A musician is going to come out with a bunch of people to watch them perform and enjoy. And you know what? Those are the same people that are sitting there enjoying the fuck out of these comedians, Yeah. So at the top of that, I put comics, at least the culture of comics and coming out to a show. There's always that weird lingering, I don't know, that lingering resentment. And it's not even like there's much of a profit because everybody gets paid. Everybody gets paid. When you break it down, Lucas and I don't even really make that much, but it's I would put that at the top of who to blame.
That makes sense. All right. So do you have any shows coming up you want to promote, or we heard about all your rooms? Do you have any shows coming up, or you want to promote?
Yeah. I mean, you're literally at one right now, which is fucking really dope.
Are you on the showcase tonight?
No, not tonight.
When can people
Tonight,
see you comedy?
that's a great question. I'm not sure when my next gig is, to be perfectly honest with you. That's a great question.
Okay, no,
I have no
pressure.
idea.
So when's your next show other than tonight?
Tomorrow night at Lauderdale Brewery, Fort Lauderdale, right by the airport.
What time?
That's the showtime starts at 7:30. The doors open at 6:30. And then we also, I think, in about a week, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, we're gonna be at Tarpon Brewery. That's gonna be pretty awesome.
All right. Do you want to give out any of your social media handles before we wrap up?
Yeah, for sure. You guys could follow the production teams of Laughter After Dark. That's on Instagram, or Intracoastal Entertainment. And then you could follow my personal account. That's Mr. Tony Dark _.
Okay, got it. All right, so thank you for joining us. Just hang in there. We just got to hear a little bit of words for white people from Terry Wayne, and we'll wrap it up. Terry,
Also, wait, before I go, I want to say I absolutely love your set on Thursday, Terry Wayne. You double OG. You impressed me. That was awesome. I love watching you go, man. And I love moments like that in comedy where I see a dude enter the pocket, and I'm like, damn, he looks very comfortable in that pocket. So shout out and kudos to you, my dude. That was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it was an all black room, which makes it such a hurdle.
Oh yeah, y'all don't scare
absolutely
me.
Right.
I'm from Memphis. Y'all don't scare me at all.
All right, that's fine, Terry. Talk to your white people. Don't talk to us like that. Go ahead.
I'm talking to you like that, and that's fine because we're all just people. None of it matters. You strip the skin off, and we're all pink on the inside. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. I thought long and hard about this Words for White People. I probably thought longer about this one than I have about any others, because of what has happened with the judiciary and SCOTUS and everything else, and the way the tide seems to be shifting. And it's shifting against democracy, which is never going to be a good idea. Yeah, you wanted to overturn Roe versus Wade for 50 years. I got it. But 70 plus, hang on, this is more of a monologue, man. And so 70+% of the populace of this country believes in being pro-choice in one form or another, where it be rape or incest or any of the other bullshit that every other mainstream outlet is talking about. But my problem is not so much with that as it is with all of it, because they also took New York's gun ban away. So not only in one hand, you're saying you're giving the rights back to the states, and then the other hand, you're saying you're taking the rights away from the states. So it really seems to be going towards one particular narrative. So rather than give some speech about why I think this is wrong, I would rather just quote someone else. So I'm just going to quote a Lutheran pastor who's been long dead, but his name was Martin Niemöller, right? He was a German Lutheran pastor, and he wrote these words: "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left to speak on my behalf." And that's where we're going. You understand? It doesn't bother you because they're not taking the rights away from you. But once they take the rights away from enough people, there's nobody going to be left to speak for your rights. So I don't care if you're pro-choice or pro-life. The fact of the matter is we're all human beings and we should all have the right to decide the destiny of our own lives. Only thing that government should be doing is protecting its people and speaking for the largest voice that is available. That's it. Because next thing you know, if they can take away your choice and your right to decide when to have a family, and they can take away your choice and your right to live in a gun-free environment, then they can easily take your guns away too. They can easily take away your rights. They can take away your right to free speech. They can take away your right to believe what you believe. Be careful the power that you give to a government in the name of your cause, because that same power can be turned against the cause you believe in pretty quickly. And I know this because that same German pastor, he wasn't speaking about American. He was speaking about the Holocaust. And that's how it happens. That's how democracy dies, to thunderous applause.
All right, Terry Wayne with the deep words for white people. The only issue I take with what you said, the government should not protect the majority. It's the minority the government's meant to actually protect, and that's whose rights they're encroaching on right now.
Democracy is a majority rule. That's what it is.
Majority rule, but the government should look out for the minority to make sure that they're right.
I agree, but you write laws based on majorities. You just do. So you can't be against.
There are more women, right, in the country. No,
you can't be against overturning Roe versus Wade and also be against
you're talking about the majority opinion, but when I'm talking about majority, I'm talking about the majority demographic. Is the difference. So, but anyway,
okay,
just one man's opinion. That's all.
No, it was a great opinion. I'm not even shitting on it. I'm just saying, like, maybe I'm mincing words here, but I think that the government is supposed to protect the minority with their laws. And that's why, they've tried to give equality to everyone. But
yes.
You mean minority, like as a people, not the number?
Be careful. You're getting down a slippery slope here, Gio.
Are you here, Tony?
I do.
I'm here. I'm still here.
I'll at least stay on to walk over here so we can say bye together.
Oh, no. Sorry. No, I thought you meant, am I here? No, I finally got my girl home. I'm like 15 minutes away now.
Oh, never mind. Okay. All right. Y'all, thanks for tuning in.
Next
time. Chaotic episode.
Super crazy. I'm so